or with adoption and clarity to an all-out war from every single angle. And we need to talk about it because things are very real right now, and a lot of people aren't ready for what's about to happen. This is my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but we are in for a world of hurt, ladies and gentlemen, not just in crypto, but for the entire market, for the entire US economy. And I'm going to go into my thoughts and reasoning as to why. But for now, things are looking bad, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel I am prepared to share with you all. So strap in. We got a lot to cover today. Things are not doing well, but we need to be able to prepare for what's about to happen. And I have receipts as I always do. So let's hop into the information. Keep the stream rolling, keep the chat rolling, because we will do our live Q&A discussion when we get through everything, just like we always do. Now, we always say, when in doubt, zoom out, right? In the grand scheme of things, this fall here, I just accidentally moved my box. But in the grand scheme of things, this fall is not all that bad. If we were to zoom out on a 1 month scenario, things are pretty much exactly where they started. Now, that being said, things have dropped significantly prior to that, obviously, we all know. Bitcoin is doing terrible. So why? Why is everything doing so poorly? And why am I extremely concerned? Well, if you've been in the stream long enough, you guys know I've talked about consumer data. I'm not even going to talk about that stuff today. I have more data, okay? If you were in the stream yesterday, inflation numbers came in terribly. We doubled the expectation of inflation. I'm not bringing the stats back up. I'm sure most of you have heard it by now. Inflation is terrible. Now, but Scott, we got good jobs data today, right? Didn't we get good jobs data today? Here it is. Jobless claims, actual 205,000 versus the expected 215,000. And the previous was 213,000. So according to this data, we are gaining jobs. But as we have seen, and the reason I'm throwing this out there, as we have seen, this creates a two-tier problem with this jobs data. Number one, if employment looks good, they cannot cut rates. If they cannot cut rates, people don't want to invest in risk assets. Mortgage rates don't come down. The whole thing is bad. We want rate cuts. So when strong jobs data comes in, it makes rate cuts impossible, especially stacked with poor inflation data. But when we take a deeper look into the jobs data, okay, layoffs are accelerating. I don't have all the data pulled up here because unfortunately my computer crashed. I was fully prepared and had everything pulled up. But unfortunately my computer crashed. But I mean, Facebook just shut down Meta. They sunk over $80 billion into Meta over the last 5 years. They threw in the towel. They got rid of it, and they're pivoting to AI. So they just laid off pretty much everyone at Meta. Dell laid off people. Amazon laid off people. Banks are laying off people. Okay, they can say there's only 205,000 jobless claims. Again, just like every single time jobs data has come out, it gets redacted a month later and then redacted again. So we're not even going to know what this true jobs data is for 2 months. And I guarantee you, it comes in a heck of a lot worse than what they're showing right now. That's been the story with jobs data every month for like the last 6 months. They come out with it and then, oh, wait, it's worse. And they come out with it and like, oh, wait, it's worse. It always gets redacted down. So I'm not buying this for 1 second. So what else? So jobs data bad, inflation data, or jobs data technically good, but we'll see. Inflation data bad. That's not going to cause the sell-off that we're seeing right now. We just got clarity from the SEC and CFTC yesterday, right? We're getting a ton of good news in crypto today. By the way, I'll share with you once I get through the bad info, and I'll tie it all in together on an opportunity that I see in this market. So, all right, we got through that. What else? Well, everyone wants to talk about the Iran conflict being close to over. Well, the Pentagon just requested $200 billion from Congress to extend the Iran excursion, operation, whatever you want to call it. Now, is this a negotiating ploy? Probably. They'll probably settle somewhere around 60 to 80 billion or something like that. But this is does that sound like a request that this is winding down or ramping up? Right? They're wanting to put an additional, they're requesting additional 200 billion, let's call it 60 to 80 billion realistically. They're requesting additional 60, 80 billion to continue operations. Furthermore, France, Germany, the UK, Italy, and the Netherlands, and Japan all say they're ready to join efforts to ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. More countries are getting involved. This sounds like escalation to me. Can they shut it down? We'll see. We hope. We need it to. Because here's the thing. If you move this forward, remember, we got to think more than 5 minutes in front of our face. We haven't felt the effects of inflation from the rising oil and energy cost, and it's getting worse. Some people are feeling it. Some people in parts of the country are seeing $5 gas and stuff like that, but that's nothing. Okay? It hasn't translated to the products. It hasn't translated to the cost of transporting goods. It hasn't translated to the cost of key elements, if you will, that are produced from refining oil that they use to make AI chips and stuff like that. There's a whole connection, right? When they stop refining oil, then they lose, I think it's helium and like there's a bunch of other things. Like this spider web's out. It's not just about oil and gas prices. This has a global effect. And it's going to have a direct impact on us as far as our products and inflation in our products about 3 to 6 months from now. The pump we're going to feel first. Everything else comes later. So this means continued inflation. The longer this goes on, the longer oil prices stay elevated, the longer inflation will persist. Now, we've covered all that. Now, one of the things that worries me, Trump ally says the U.S. economy is weaker than we thought. A man once tapped by President Trump to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics has warned the U.S. economy is not strong enough to handle soaring oil prices caused by the ongoing war with Iran. The economy is weaker than we thought it was, and inflation is worse than we thought it was. E.J. Antoni told the Financial Times on Wednesday after oil prices soared over $100 a barrel last week. I don't think this is an economy that is going to be able to handle $100 a barrel for oil. It's just not, he said. Why it matters. The ongoing conflict between U.S., Israel, and Iran has sent shockwaves through global energy markets. Iranian strikes on Gulf energy facilities have sent oil price and gas prices skyrocketing, and tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping route, have further amplified market fears. So, one of Trump's own guys is saying, hold up, we can't handle this. This is the person he was going to put in charge of the Department of Labor, but when he started telling Trump what he didn't want to hear, he then moved on to someone else. Now, who did he put into effect? Did you know? I can't remember her name, but did you know she's recently under investigation for taking not clients, but people she was meeting with to strip clubs and stuff like that, taking her employees to strip clubs. So that's our government sometimes, guys. Iran missile attack on Qatar causes extensive damage to facility housing a huge gas plant. So Iran strikes a massive natural gas plant in Qatar, creating extensive damage. And then the attacked, oh, come on with the ads, people. The attacked South Pars natural gas field is an energy lifeline for Iran. Frankfurt, Germany, the South Pars natural gas field, which came under attack this week as part of the world's largest such field, and an energy lifeline for Iran. Israel's attacks on the field prompted Iran to target their energy infrastructure. So Israel attacked Iran's gas lines, and in return, Iran started attacking Qatar's gas lines. Does this sound like it is not increasing in hostilities here? Does this sound like a war that's ramping down? Or does this sound like a stock market that's going to be ramping down? Is the music slowing? Or is the music stopping? That is the question we have to ask ourselves when we're looking at this. Now, what happens if gas goes to $100? What happens if we go to a recession? Or what happens if gas goes to, or not gas, oil goes to $120, $150? Remember, the 2008 recession, oil got to $147 a barrel. So what is going to happen if this actually goes through? What's going to happen in the stock market? Well, initially, everything sells off. And then people will make a run to their hard assets. So like gold, silver, US treasuries. So what we can usually get an idea of, depending on what the market's looking like. Let's see. Gold sold off down to 4,500 today. Silver's down to $70 today. Bitcoin's down to 69,000 today. Nvidia stock, maybe? Everyone loves Nvidia. Nvidia's down to $177. What's the S&P doing? I'm sure it's doing terribly, all things considered. S&P's down, right? Literally everything is down. What about US treasuries? What are our treasuries doing? Any thoughts? All this stuff is down. What should treasuries be doing? They should be starting to go up. Let me pull this up here. US treasuries should be going up. So iShares Core US Aggregate Bond ETF. Nope, it's going down as well. Not good, my friends. Literally everything is going down. That means everything's selling off. That means margin calls. That means liquidity sweeps. That means the whole shebang. When everything's selling, it means people are getting margin called. They're grabbing liquidity wherever they can right now. Not a good sign. It's truly not. So what happens when markets break? Where does the money flow to when markets break? Well, it doesn't flow anywhere. It's getting sold off because people are getting margin called. But there is function that needs to be used, and I said I would tie it all together, and you guys aren't even looking at this with me when I was going through it. I went through, everything's down. I pulled off of there to talk to you guys, but I mean, that's the treasury, or that's treasuries. Bitcoin down to 69, gold is down, silver's down, it's all down. But what happens when liquidity stress breaks? What ramps up the most when liquidity stress breaks? Any guesses? Should sound familiar to those who are familiar with the Jake Claver theories, right? Repo. Create stress in the repo markets. Well, there is one crypto doing a ton of repo right now, and that's Canton. We'll see. It's kind of a hedge. Not really. It's more like a bet that as the system breaks, that their network is going to be used more to facilitate the liquidity necessary, especially since the pilot for the DTCC is supposed to be starting here in a month or so, and then they're already doing a bunch of repo at Broadridge. So there is an opportunity there with Canton that I've been looking at. That's a possibility that could connect or that could catch a runner on the end of this, but it's not good news. So let's have some good news. Enough doom and gloom. All right, good news. Eleanor Tourette, after a Senate Republican meeting on crypto market structure attended by White House Crypto Council Executive Director Patrick Witt and Senator Loomis, told reporters negotiations around yield and rewards are making progress but remain in a delicate state, with the focus shifting from imminent legislative text to who we need to be reaching out to. I think some major light bulbs were switched on during this meeting, so there's a path forward That is not the path I would have expected to encounter when I walked into the room. So they're changing directions now, says Loomis. There's a path forward, but they're changing directions. Patrick Witt, who emerged from the meeting looking frustrated, had no comment on the meeting. Senator Tim Scott emerged smiling as always, but declined to comment, noting he doesn't speak to reporters in the hallways. So, no news. It's in a delicate state. What else is new? What did Paul Atkins have to say? Chairman Paul Atkins of the SEC in regards to the commission's interpretation. Well, if you missed it yesterday, it's a quick recap. It's about 1 minute. Here you go.
The commission came out for the first time with an interpretative release that really sets a line between what are commodities in the digital asset space and what are securities. And the significance also about this particular release that we did is that the CFTC participated with us in it. And so they had some guidance that's included in that release along with our interpretation. So basically, as you said, and that tripped off your tongue very well, so that's very good, we are outlining 4 types of assets that are not securities, and those are digital commodities, digital tools, digital collectibles, and stable coins. And stable coins per the Genius Act that was enacted last year. So we're breaking with the past. We are now giving clarity from the SEC's perspective as to what are and are not securities.
There you go. We're breaking from the past. We are breaking from the past from the SEC's perspective. Yes. Now, more bullish news for other crypto projects. MoonPay, Coinbase Commerce shuts down in 12 days, and MoonPay Commerce can be live in 12 minutes. One compliant integration for deposits, checkouts, pay links, pay card, and subscriptions. Get started with MoonPay Commerce. Okay, so MoonPay. Moving forward, Canton Network MeshPay joins Canton as a super validator, helping build secure, compliant infrastructure that connects TradFi and crypto in a single coordinated market. So MeshPay joins with Canton as a super validator. But this is probably the biggest news of them all today. Stellar Org has selected Zebek as its global stablecoin payroll infrastructure provider for the Stellar ecosystem. So Stellar partnering with Zebek. This expands our partnership with one of the original blockchain networks in crypto, powering global payments and remittances, including a direct integration to MoneyGram's 50 million customer across Latin America and beyond. So, and remember, Zebek partnered with Lattice to bring their neobank to Canton. It's all integrating. All integrating, folks. So Zebek and Stellar for my XLM and Zebek friends. Massive partnership. And last but certainly not least, gotta have my Ripple news in here, folks. Ripple surveyed 1,000 plus global finance leaders in 2026. A few things stood out. Remember, this is a post from Ripple. 72% say that digital assets are now table stakes to stay competitive. 74% see stablecoins as a cash flow tool, not just a payment rail. And 89% of those surveyed say that digital asset custody is a top priority. Most finance leaders are not debating digital assets anymore. They're figuring out how to build with them and who to build with. Can't be much more bullish than that as far as the long view approach to crypto. But again, as we discussed at the beginning, and I'll do a recap here in a little bit for anyone who came in late, economy's not looking good in the near term, folks. And the only crypto I see immediately benefiting, again, everything will go down at first in a recession. But the only cryptocurrencies I can see immediately benefiting are what is involved with institutional flow. Because institutional flow doesn't stop, right? They're still going to be buying and selling of assets. The DTCC is not going away. Stock market is not going away, right? But the money invested in the stock market's going to go away. So we need to be a part of the rails. And that's why I focus on XRP and Canton Network in that regards. And then my tokenization projects, HBAR, Ondo, etc. Chainlink for security or for Oracle layering, right? It's about building the rails. That's why I focused on that. And again, in a recession, everything's going to go down. I'm not going to try and act like it's not. But, whew, it's a lot going on, folks. So let me pull up the chat and talk to everybody today. It's all the info I have at the moment. And I don't even think I got the chat overlaid correctly. So give me a minute and I will talk to everybody. Let me get the chat overlaid so I can talk to everybody. Yeah, I didn't do it. Okay. Now it should work. Let's see. Make sure. Is it working? There it goes. Okay. Alrighty. Kelly is in the house today. She said, whoever said strong jobs is not looking for a job, which is really impossible right now. You're not wrong. And again, I kind of noted on that they keep redacting it back every time they do it. So realistically, I mean, it's not a strong jobs market. And then they redact it back because they say, you know, people were deported. Okay, what jobs are we talking about, right? Good afternoon. What kind of job are you looking for? See? And again, it depends on what kind of job you're looking for. God of Thunder in the house today saying thank you for another stream. I stream every single day, Monday through Saturday at noon. We cover all the news. We stay up to date and we talk about investing for the long view. So God of Thunder in the house today. Fishing Man back in the house today. Miss Wendy making her appearance. SV1025 hanging out with us today. Waiting for the $1 XRP. Very possible. Fishing Man says the metaverse was a hilariously dumb idea. Well, you know, the funny thing is a lot of times where they say something is a hilariously dumb idea, it was just hilariously wrongly executed. I think virtual reality has a place in our world, just not the way they were trying to do it. They were trying to, I think they were trying to go Ready Player One style, and I that's not how it was going to work. Good in theory, but not quite how it was going to work. Isn't the U.S. using Venezuela oil? Kinda. And again, but we're not talking, it doesn't matter what oil we're using. Sure, we can have our own oil, but you think Exxon and all those people, they're going to sell it to us for $70 a barrel when they can sell it to whomever for $120 a barrel? That's why there's sanctions. That's why there's the OPEC and everything else. Like, it's in place to try to prevent one country from having an unfair advantage over another as far as that kind of stuff. So, our oil is going to go up like everyone else. And we're not just talking about gas prices. We're talking about the cost to produce materials as well, the cost to ship materials, the cost to produce materials used to make things that comes from the refining of oil and gas. Like, all of these things are affected, and it takes months for that trickle down effect to really dive in on people. Raul says he's getting silver soon. And right, repo will go up in that case. Exactly. You cheated. We were talking about that last night. Raul, no one has the money to buy CC. I should have sold that silver last night like I was talking about. I told him I was thinking about selling silver so I could buy more Canton when I look at the market as far as an opportunity to catch one if I am right about repo. I think in about 2 weeks we should have a bill to pass. I'm crossing my fingers by before midterms. I'm crossing my fingers for before midterms. If it happens sooner, I'd love to be wrong. I just want it to be done before midterms. That's all I'm counting on. That's all I'm hoping on. Because if it goes after that, then we got an even more serious problem. Crypto Roger thinks clarity in April. I really hope so. I really hope so. Moody's on Canton is huge also. Yes, I covered that yesterday. I'm pretty up to date. Very rarely am I too far behind on my news updates. But yeah, Moody's going on Canton is massive. That's going to really, really entice a lot of the major banks and a lot of the major money market players to work on Canton because Moody's is doing their licensing there. And the crazy thing is they're not doing their licensing anywhere else on chain right now. So it's not that they're the first licensing to come to Canton. It's just that they are the first licensing to come to blockchain. Period. Zebek up right now. I mean, that was major partnership for them. XLM, you would think Zebek and XLM are both up on that news, but they're really not. I mean, they might be a little bit, but in comparison to what's happening, not really. NVIDIA gaming graphics card coming in 2028 will skyrocket the stock. No, I don't think their gaming graphics cards have to do with anything. It's for NVIDIA, it's all about AI, data centers, and chip sales right now. Like, honestly, because of all the data centers being built out, that's where their money's coming from. Their valuation is so overblown with debt. Like, their valuation's like a 24. It's like over what they're actually making. Like, the valuation's like 24 times over what they're actually making. Like, if you actually go in and look at a stock, you can see what their cash flow is and how their valuation is based on what they're actually earning. And they're like a 24-1 as far as their value versus what they actually earn. They're pumped full of debt. And the majority of that money is coming from, again, their works they're doing with AI and AI growth. Not so much to do with, graphics cards for gaming. It all has to do with chips and cards for Bitcoin mining and AI data centers. With a recession looming, where do you see the price of Bitcoin and XRP going to? Well, usually the money rolls out of crypto first, and I think we've been seeing a lot of that recently, right? Because remember, a lot of people were like, well, crypto's doing bad, but gold's up, silver's up, the stock market's up, right? So I think a lot of the rotation has already happened. Now, there still will be more pain. I'm not going to say there won't be. I mean, my original thesis when things were falling the first time, Bitcoin to 55 and XRP to $1. And that's where I have my buy order set for XRP is at $1.02. So yeah, my thesis, I mean, in the grand scheme of things of the bottom levels has not changed. Now, I'm not trying to time tops and bottoms. That's not what this channel is about. You know that, Steven. But to clarify for anyone else who may be listening, we're here for the long view. We dollar cost average in over time. I'm here for what the assets are going to be 5 to 10 years from now, not necessarily what they are today, tomorrow, next week, 5 or 10 weeks from now. Todd Madison says Canton is back at a good place to get it. I mean, 14-cent range and it dropped with the rest of crypto today. That tells me the fact that literally everything is dropping, gold, silver, stocks, like literally everything is dropping, tells me that this is a liquidity crisis, margin call, whatever you want to call it. People are getting liquidated right now, and they need cash. Raul, either in person or remote financial operations back off. That's why. Kelly, I'm sorry. You literally worked where crypto is replacing. The back office financial administration stuff. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's really hard to find right now, Kelly. So crypto and AI are hitting you right now. That they're destroying your career field. Because that's all that back office stuff is what's being automated with smart contracts and things like that. Man, that sucks, Kelly. Yeah, that's tough. All right, let's do a recap for anyone who came in late. And let me hop into that real quick here. Let's see. It won't let me pull this up? Yeah, well, there we go. Let me do a recap for anyone who came in late. Let me get to the correct screen. Boom, here we go. And hopefully you guys like the new setup, the new background. Trying to make it more professional for y'all, clean it up. Hit the like button for the new background. All right. So for anyone who came in late, I'll try and make this quick. All right. Right now you're looking at positive news. That was not what the original message was about. We started with jobs data. So the original jobless claims came out today with an actual 205,000 jobless. The previous was 213,000. The expected was 215,000. Again, this is good news. It beat expectations, but this puts a hold on rate cuts. That is not good news. That is going to damage the economy. And I say that for the reason that pretty much if you look to the left, if you walk out your front door right now and you look to the left and you look to the right, one of those households is having problems paying their mortgage or rent. 50% of the country is having problems with their mortgage or rent. Credit card debt's at an all-time high. Credit card delinquency at an all-time high. Auto loan delinquency at an all-time high. And people cannot afford their homes. No one has disposable income right now. Well, inflation went up this month. What else is happening? This Iran battlefield is not going away. It's only ramping up. France, Germany, the UK, Italy, Netherlands, and Japan say they are ready to join the efforts to ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. There are now over 29 countries, or now I think it's 29 countries. There are now roughly 30 countries involved in this operation. Okay? This is the closest thing to a world war we have ever seen. There are more countries involved in this operation than there were involved in World War II. This can turn very negative very quick. But why am I worried about a recession? Well, when we're talking about the Iran issue, updated TradFi is reeling from $200 billion Iran war bill. Basically, I'm not going to get into this whole thing, but essentially, the U.S. Pentagon has requested from Congress a $200 billion stipend, if you will, to fund the war in Iran. Now, is this real? Yes, it's real, but it's more of a bargaining ploy. Start high, end up somewhere in the middle. So they're probably really looking for about 60 to 80 billion. But nonetheless, that does not sound like something that's ending anytime soon. Well, let's take it a step further. We covered this. Let's take it a step further. Let's hear from Trump's people themselves. So the Trump ally says the U.S. economy is weaker than we thought. A man once tapped by the president to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics has warned that the U.S. economy is not strong enough to handle soaring oil prices caused by the ongoing war in Iran. The economy is weaker than we thought it was, and inflation is worse than we thought it was. E.J. Antoni told the Financial Times on Wednesday after oil prices soared over $100 a barrel the previous week. I don't think this is an economy that is going to be able to handle $100 a barrel for oil. It's just not, he said. So again, this was one of his people that he was going to use for the Department of Labor, but opted not to when he started telling them things he didn't want to hear. Qatar said on Wednesday that Iranian missiles caused extensive damage at the RAS Laffan at Ras Laffan Industrial City, home of the largest liquefied natural gas. So liquefied natural gas hit in Qatar in response from Israel attacking the South Pars natural gas field. So we're destroying gas and oil. This is only escalating. It's not going backwards. And when we're talking about oil, gas, and all of these things, we're not talking about just at the pump. We're not talking about just in our electric and heating bills. This goes into everything. It goes in the cost to produce goods, cost to transport goods. A lot of elements are created from the refining of crude oil, and a lot of those elements are used in things like chips, semiconductors, things like that. This has ripple effects that spread throughout everything. Okay? And we're not going to feel that for about 3 to 6 months after the fact. So, yeah, this is not looking good in terms of a recession. The only silver lining that I saw for me personally was that if I'm right about Canton Network, repo is going to ramp up, because as people liquidate, the first thing that gets stressed is repo. So we'll see quickly if they start moving that to Canton or not, but that's the only silver lining I can see in this, at least in the near future. Now, again, we're here long term. So is crypto screwed right now? I mean, pretty much everything's screwed right now. For now. But in the long term, we're going to come out ahead. I mean, we can see the adoption. We went through all of the information with the adoption as far as MoonPay, Zebek, Ripple, Canton. I mean, we can see, remember, Zebek and XLM partnering together. So, I mean, there's so much good news, but money go down the hole right now. It's just bad. There's no way to sugarcoat it. The economy is bad. The whole situation in Iran is bad. And I'm not choosing political sides. I'm speaking economically, it's bad right now. I mean, that's all it is. Economically, it's bad. Not saying we should be there, shouldn't be there, it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just letting you know what it's going to do to the economy. So let's get back in the chat. Hopefully you guys kept it going for me. Clarity Act passing equals sell the news event, probably. Because, I mean, even if the Clarity Act passes, they still have to work on the rules and stuff like that in legislation. However, it is really good that the SEC and CFTC already came out with the way they're going to be approaching it in advance. So we kind of have rules of the road. They're just not codified into law yet. How is Iran still controlling the Strait of Hormuz? Didn't we eliminate their navy in 2 days? Well, remember, the Strait of Hormuz is the width of Manhattan. Okay, very, very small. So they can attack ships with drones, land-based missiles. They can throw what they call them. They called them like I think they call them gnats is what they were calling them. They're like little speedboats with missiles in them. They run up and just, yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of ways they can terrorize it from land, because it's such a small area. It's literally the size of Manhattan, so it can be fought and controlled from the ground. And then also, I don't have the data. I couldn't find the data. You guys, I mention them all the time. If you like global, macro, political stuff, I watch Meet Kevin a lot. I don't know where he got the data, but he pulled up data that the actual missile and drone strikes from Iran have been increasing over the last 6 days. So they somehow got a new supply of drones and missiles to them, or they're producing them somehow, because their attacks have ramped up over the last 6 to 7 days. They're quote unquote swarm drone strikes. That's how they're able to hit some of these targets. They just overwhelm the defenses with a swarm of these cheap drones, because these drones, they only cost about $20,000 to $50,000. It's an expensive fight. They control it from the land as well. They can easily bomb anything that sails through. Exactly. The private sublets like Broadridge DLR are soon to use global synchronizer, meaning CC. I can't wait. Yes, they're going to use the global synchronizer. And don't forget, they're bringing all the private subchains. They're going to be burning Canton as well. So they're moving them into the burn also. Canton, I mean, it's a very promising project. I'm very excited about it. Karen Miller, I haven't seen that name. Where are you from, Karen? And what's your favorite crypto? Hello, perhaps a bit off topic. Have you heard any updates on the T. Rowe Price ETF for XRP? Love your videos, by the way. Well, thank you for joining in. Thank you for participating in the chat. No new information. I did an update a few days ago about it. It was moving into its final step of SEC approval, was the last thing I saw a few days ago. But no other updates on it yet. It's not live yet. I'm keeping an eye on them, but to be honest, I've been a lot more distracted with Clarity Act, with what's going on in Iran, oil. I mean, it is a freaking whirlwind out there right now, people. I mean, literally, there's stuff. When I say we're getting hit from every direction, like literally, there's stuff coming from every single direction. Whether it's competition, adoption, bad inflation data, jobs data, war in Iran, oil. It's literally every single direction right now. And the crazy thing to me is that during this time, and I know prices down, I know a lot of people bought at the top, but when we really think about it, think about what's happened in the last month, okay? When we really think about it, we don't want that screen. Whoop. I need to fix that. Let's see. Let me get to the right page here. This is what I'm looking for. All right. When we really think about it, let's look at XRP. I'm pretty sure just about everyone here loves XRP with a couple small exceptions. So if we zoom out and look at what's happened since this war, if you will, there was a liquidity sweep right before, ran up and then sold off. But since the invasion, if you will, which was end of March, right around here-ish, crypto has actually held on very well. All things considered, it's held on very well. There hasn't been a ton of liquidation since this point. I know there was liquidation before, which lets me know that most of retail is out. Now, there's still more bleeding that can be had. But in the grand scheme of things, all things considered, crypto has held on fairly well over the last month. Okay? If that gives you any kind of feel goods, I don't know, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, it's held on pretty well. Let's get back to the chat. Raul, from Russia and China? More than likely, I definitely think China. Karen Miller, Tampa, XBAR, XRP, and HBAR. Perfect. Bought in December 24th, about the worst time. And at least you didn't buy in July or June when it was up at around $3. Tampa, lots of people from Florida and Texas in this stream, I've noticed. But we get people from all over. I got lots of people in the UK, Netherlands. I got a couple from Bulgaria, I think. Kentucky in the house. I mean, I get people from there's some South Carolina. The Longview crew is global, and I love it. I appreciate you all. AC in the house. He likes beer. Today is a good day to drink. Today's a good day, and I don't drink, but I do other things. But today's a good day to just sit back, relax, and be like, whew, it's not looking good. Raul from Texas. Yep, lots of people from Texas. I got lots of y'all from Texas. But that's all the news and information I have for you all today. Fisherman in the house, Minnesota, but you'd rather be in Florida. Yeah, I'm in Kansas City. I'd much rather be in Florida by the beach. Jojo, here's a name I haven't seen. Hello from Toronto, Canada. What's your crypto, Jojo? South Tampa? Okay. That's right. Kelly's from Tampa area too. No, wait. Kelly's not from Tampa. Are you? I can't remember where Kelly's from now. Man, my stroke brain gets me sometimes. Short-term memory loss crap. Now you got me all complex. It's a lot of people just north of Tampa. Damn Tom Brady and the Bucks ruining our Super Bowls. All right, let's do some price stuff. We'll see here. Find some stuff to do. Keep the chat rolling. I know there's like a 15 to 30 second delay on the chat. I guess you never did tell me, Kelly. That's why I can't remember. I think I'm going to buy some more CC. Yeah, and the members only hangout last night. So every week on Wednesday, the members, every week on the live stream, well, the members now, we do a Google Hangout. And I was talking with Raul last night. He was outside working on something. I just kept hearing sheep baa and cows moo. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man? It was funny. It was great. You're from a lot of places, Kelly. Fair enough. I'm from a lot of places too. Right now I'm from Kansas City. I grew up here for the most part, but I've been around. I've lived in Texas, Oklahoma, Philadelphia, of course, Kansas City, Mississippi. I was in Biloxi, Mississippi for about a year. I was actually the first crew into Biloxi, Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina. So I did a lot of humanitarian cleanup. That was when I was in the Air Force, stationed down there at Keesler Air Force Base. Okay, Kelly, all good. Let's see here. And yeah, memberships are available. You guys want to hang out and do those chats, that is available to you. Any and all money that's earned by the stream goes to growing the stream, because this channel is really about the community. It's about growing the community. It's about creating a different idea around crypto, about crypto that's here for the long view and not so combative against each other as far as one crypto is going to rule them all. More about education, improvement, and a long view around finance. But that's everything I got for you guys today. The chat's died down, the stream's dying down. Not necessarily the best news day, but it is what it is. So I do have one more day to get in my XRP versus CC stream. Hopefully I can get it in tomorrow and things don't burn down. Yesterday we got clarity information I was going to do it. Today all this crap happened. So hopefully XRP versus CC